My name's Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff, where I'll make a healthy dinner from start to finish and pair it with wines from around the world. Let's fill up that glass. Hi, I'm Jeff Makarevich. Welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff. Today we're doing pork and sauerkraut, a family tradition of ours that was passed down through many generations that I'd love to share with you. And we're pairing it with this awesome, beautiful Untitled Gewurztraminer from France. It has lovely notes of rose petals and jasmine, with finishing with mango and passion fruit. You're gonna love it. It pairs wonderfully. Now let's get in the kitchen. Okay, I have a 3-pound piece of pork loin here that we're working with. It's not a tenderloin, it's a pork loin. Take a look at it. We have a cleaner layer always of the pork loin and then more of a fatty layer. So I'm going to sear this, so I want to take off some of this fat. Since we're roasting it, you can keep it on, but I want to sear it first, so I don't want to sear the fat. So I'm going to take my knife, if you watch, and I'm going down the edge of the fat layer, and I'm just peeling it right off. As you can see, that layer came off pretty easy. And let me flip it over so you could see what I just did. And this layer came completely right off. So that's what you want to do, because I want to sear this part of the meat, actually. I don't want to sear the actual fat layer. So just pull back on it. Try not to take as much of the meat. If you want to leave some of the fat on, some of this fat is good, so you don't have to take it all off, because some of the fat that comes down and it goes down into the actual sauerkraut layer. Oh, what makes the sauerkraut taste good, some of this fat. So it doesn't have to be completely all trimmed off. So that looks kind of good, right about there. So we want to leave some of it on. Now we're going to get this in the pan with some olive oil and fry it up and sear it up on each side. Okay, now we're going to just simply season our pork loin. And we're just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. And don't go overboard right now with the salt, just a little bit, because the sauerkraut has a lot of sodium in it. That's how they're curing the sauerkraut. So salt and pepper. Could always taste at the end if it needs a little bit more. Salt is my thing. You don't want to over salt. Always taste at the end. Okay, let's get it in a hot pan. We are going to sear this. Woo! That's what you want to hear. Now we're just going to let that bad boy go. So we're going to sear each side until it gets all caramelized. And it adds a ton of flavor that way. And then once it's all seared, we'll get the sauerkraut in there and all of the apples and all the good stuff. Now that we have our pork loin all nice and seared, looking beautiful, this is so easy to do. We're going to just add the sauerkraut right into the pan. Now, first tip of the day, other than definitely searing your meat, do not drain your sauerkraut. We want all the moisture in there and all the liquid. So don't drain it, and don't try to take out all the juices that are in there, because we want all those juices. Okay, and then to that, we are going to add, this is brown sugar that I just threw in there. Everything is down in the description center. And all the exact measurements, everything that you need to know is right down in there. And in here is a smoked paprika that I just threw in. It is lovely in this dish. You will really, really enjoy it if you never tried it with a smoked paprika. And this gives it another layer of flavor. This is 2 apples with the actual, obviously their core taken out, and no skin also on them. So that is all in there, and it's that simple. It's that easy. Sauerkraut, some brown sugar, apples, some smoked paprika, and now we're just gonna add the finishing touch, which is a tablespoon of pure maple syrup. So make sure it's pure maple syrup. So we added that right in there, and then we're gonna put our pork loin with all the juices right on in. And I'm using the same pan because I want all those juices and the drippings from the pan is in here. So we want to use that. And here I have a cup of water. So let's say I want to probably do maybe a half cup at first, but save this because the difference between this pork loin is it does not have a lot of fat on it. So your number one tip is you want to seal this pan. So I'm using a seasoned cast iron with a really good seal on it. We want to keep all the moisture in, and we're going to cook it low and slow for hours. So 250 degrees, and it's going to be cooking very slow. Check it in 2.5 hours. Make sure you still have enough moisture in there. If not, add a little more water. And we're going to take it all the way to 4 to 5 hours, depending on the actual size of your pork loin. We want it to pull apart and just shred with a fork. It'll be so moist. And the last hour, this is another great tip. I take the lid off, and I want that sauerkraut to get all brown and caramelized on top. Oh, you will love this dish. It's so easy to put together. It just takes a little bit of time in the oven, but hey, now look. Perfect time to sit down and have a glass of wine while this bakes in the oven for 4 to 5 hours. Now, Happy New Year to you. Woo! It smells so good in here. Wow. Look at that. That smells so good. And I took the last hour, I took the lid off so the sauerkraut could caramelize and get all nice and brown, and look how beautiful that is. Now watch this. Just look how tender this is, how it just pulls apart. OMG. So you just want to shred that, and this is gonna be mouth-watering. I can't wait for you guys to try this. So this was 4 hours of slow cooking, and then another hour with the lid off to caramelize this sauerkraut. Woo, let's plate this up. I can't wait to try it. I love passing on our family traditions. Pork and sauerkraut for the New Year's Day, so you could have good luck throughout the rest of 2019. So give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you know what I'm making next week. But let's dig in to this pork and sauerkraut. Okay, big bite here. Oh my God. So moist and tender. And don't forget your Gewurztraminer from Alsace. Perfect pairing with the pork and sauerkraut. Thanks for stopping by Wine and Dine, and we'll see you next week.